It's a big day. It's a big day.
Very big day.
Yeah.
How are you doing?
I'm okay. I'm all right. It's Cinco de Mayo.
It is Cinco de Mayo. Do they do that over there?
Yeah, well, in their own way. Shots of tequila, I guess, around a bar, but yeah, I made taco pockets. Yeah, so we had taco pockets, and then Gemma bolted off. She is getting her haircut, colored, all that kind of stuff, and she's actually still there.
She doesn't have you coloring her hair anymore?
No, now that lockdown is over, she can she can go get it done like a real human being. Not me though. Look at me. I don't care.
It's kind of punky. It's cool. It looks cool.
Yeah, it's a just a pony. I just wasn't having it today.
Is that for horse? The ponytail for horse?
It could be. Could be. I just wasn't in the mood to do anything, so I just threw it up. So yeah, let's get her in here, shall we?
Yes, looking forward to it.
All the way. I wonder if people are sick of this yet. Get her all connected with the audio.
Get in here.
Yeah,
Just do this.
get him in there, girl.
Oh my God, does my face look red?
How
I've walked 12 miles today.
I know you said this woman went on a 12-mile hill walk today.
Wow.
Yeah. Look at you.
Awesome.
You look fabulous, darling.
Hello, well, it's lovely. We've not done this for years.
I had not seen you for years, but you look amazing, and I watch everything you're doing all the time. You've had a big year.
It's been an incredible year, and in spite of COVID and lockdown, it's just been. I've been quite productive, not musically, but just kind of making plans ahead. And my tour, it's moved again to April 2022. But what's happened in the meantime is I got a little bit of funding. So on Sunday, I'm going up north to start recording.
Oh, nice.
Well done.
That's the first time I've recorded. I'm heading towards my next album, which I think is my 10th. I don't know. But anyway, so I'm frantically writing away here. But the whole point is me to experiment.
Yeah, that's fantastic.
It's all about, because the last album, Home, was a bit like a bookend with the first album, Same Sky, which the anniversary is about. So I feel free now to go off and explore and try things. Try things out. As I said, it's from Creative Scotland, which I'm eternally grateful for. It's just a small amount to get me going, but it's a chance for me to try things out, because, like most musicians, without a major label, it's hand to mouth all the time financially, and you don't have the luxury of sitting in a studio trying things out. So. And I know that we've got like technology and you can sit at home and record, but it's not the same as being in a studio and having that environment. And this studio is an old church. It's called St. Mary's Space.
Oh,
it's a beautiful, beautiful place.
Oh, that's going to be.
That's nice acoustics in there.
It's incredible, absolutely incredible. So, and the engineer Jamie is a bit of an expert on acoustics. And he's actually an expert. I don't know what the phrase is, but he records and teaches people how to record ambient sounds, etc., which I do on my iPhone. I record, like for the last album, I recorded various things like the tide when I was a child, where I was growing when I grew up, the place that we went to when we were children, and I recorded a high tide, a low tide. I recorded where my mum and dad's ashes are. Now, you don't physically hear those things, but they're actually in the track.
Oh, wow.
Cool.
But you know how do you know how I discovered this feeling thing. Years ago, during the same sky, there's a track called Speed of the Beat, which is one of the singles. And when you isolate, so when I say isolate, for those that don't know, when you sort of choose a particular track, an element, and you solo it, one of the things is we had Tony, we said, let's do a little shaker. And the best shaker we found was homeopathic teething granules, who's a tiny wee thing like this. So there's this big mic and him kind of going, shaking this shaker. So, but what you hear is him breathing. And the whole shaker going. But also the window, the big studio window door was open and you can hear birds. Now, the thing is, you listen to the whole track, you don't hear any of that, but it's in there. It's got a lovely feel to it. So, yeah, I've been interested in that ever since. And I like to sort of put wee snippets in, little elements that people won't hear audibly, but it's in the track. So
it's amazing.
That's awesome.
Do you worry about when you're doing a live show trying to harness that, or no, you just...
No, I think that kind of thing doesn't. I think when you actually perform live, you're breathing out from yourself, and people are breathing in what you're breathing out, and I think that's just as effective. There's little elements that are key sounds as opposed to those atmosphere things. Now, I don't think I've ever put, because occasionally we use like a track so that it sounds like the original, but yeah, I wouldn't put those things in. I think just performing live, like we all agree, performing live is the magic.
Exactly. You feed it.
I
know that.
I agree.
Energy. Yeah.
First of all, it's very nice to meet you. Denise told me a lot about you, and I looked you up online, and I was so impressed with your work and your career.
Thank you.
What an amazing band you have. Wow. I was like, oh my God, there's so many people in the band and so many good people in the band. So it's really great to speak with you and hear about you. I'm a musician as well. And I understand what you're saying about those outside elements when you're recording. My last CD I made, we wanted a front porch feel to the song, like just like a laid back, swampy kind of country front porch feel. And instead of using any kind of a percussion instrument, one of the musicians played a cardboard box that just happened to arrive with a new piece of equipment for the studio. And it was just sitting there, and like no one would ever know that's a box, but it sounded like you're sitting on your front porch and you might be hitting like the side of a chair or something, So I totally get that, doing that in recording, but you can't really emulate that on the stage when you play that live.
What's really interesting is my favorite producers are producers that use like analog sounds, real sounds. So that kind of thing of finding something which is not digital, it's analog. A lot of kids growing up today don't appreciate that, I think, quite the same, or being in a studio, or what you can achieve physically and in the ether, properly in the ether. I'm trying to remember. There's a producer I really like called Pierre Marchand. Do you know Pierre Marchand? I think he's Canadian, French Canadian.
I don't.
He's produced the McGarrigle sisters. He's produced Rufus Wainwright. So there's obviously that connection. And his production, Sarah McLachlan as well, his production tends to be quite natural, but at the same time, what he does is he uses natural instruments, and but he uses them in such a way as makes a loop with them. You've still got analog instruments, and so if you listen in the background, it's incredible, especially Sarah McLachlan stuff in particular. It's just a real natural producer, really, really great stuff. So I'd love to find somebody that was of that kind of element. I'm doing all this myself at the moment, but what I want to do is record the album proper at the end of the year.
Fantastic.
And we'll probably be looking for a producer. So I've never had that luxury before. So I'm like, oh, who could we ask? But these things are on a budget, as JD would recognise. It's I don't know. It might be okay without getting some producer in, but for me it'd be fun to have a bit of the responsibility taken away a little bit.
Yes,
definitely.
I feel that.
Yeah,
feel that.
Of course. You you mentioned Same Sky. This is, correct me if I'm wrong, but 30 years, right?
Well, it was 30 years last year.
Okay,
So
31 years.
when well, yeah, well, we did one show which I filmed and recorded, fortunately,
Yeah.
at the Queen's Hall in Edinburgh, and it turned out very, very well. So it's what people are going to get in 2022, which will be the 32nd anniversary, but we're still calling it the 30th anniversary.
But that's
Will be the
huge.
Same Sky show, Same Sky
Huge.
show. So
Yeah.
it's I don't know. The only way I can describe what's happening at the moment, I don't know. It's like I'm a real firm believer in fate, and I think that 30 years ago, when everything was going huge and bang, and we signed our deal, we released singles, then the album came out in '90. We toured with Tina Turner across Europe, and then the Gulf War happened, and there was all these things went wrong, began to go wrong. And it's like the only way I can liken it is it's like there was this big wave coming towards us, and we missed it.
Ah,
I feel this
Yeah.
wave now. This wave is coming now, and I can feel it, and I'm ready this time. I don't think I was ready then, and
It could
it's
be.
just so exciting, very exciting.
Yeah, I
and
mean, you're a cover girl. You were on the cover of Diva, and then
I saw
it's
that.
amazing. And then behind you, I mean, that picture, the National Portrait Gallery. That's
it's
Wow.
well, do you know there are so many honors attached to that moment in time, and I think yeah, I'll try and pick it apart a tiny bit. So having done what I've done for many years, having been out and with a major record deal and no one really getting it, and then Katie Lang happens, and she gets all the shit, frankly, which maybe just saved me a little bit. But you know, things. It wasn't the time at that point. So I've been through an enormous amount. A lot of things happened in my life growing up, and the struggle to be an out lesbian woman in the music industry. Lots of stuff. Equal marriage happens eventually in Scotland. You know, things, the tides, it's all changing. So that's all happening as an undercurrent. I did a show with David McCalmont. You might not know him, but it was the Dusty and Shirley show. So David and I sang Dusty and, you know, as in Shirley Bassey and Dusty Springfield songs at a wonderful club in London called the Hideaway, which is like one of those old-fashioned, a very American model where you have dinner and you watch a show.
oh yeah.
Yeah, and so in London and Streatham, it's an incredible. It's just moving actually recently, but anyway, we're doing that. And afterwards, this woman came up to me. So I often meet people after shows, and it was funny. She knows about this, so she would laugh. But when she came up to me, I'm sure JD's the same. You get people coming up to you, and you just kind of got to take a wee. Is this somebody that's just what's behind this? And she said, "Would you like to come up and see my paintings?" It was a bit like, "Do you want to come up and see my etchings?" But I was like, okay. She said she was an artist, and I was like, okay. So the next time I was in London, I went to her studio, which was in Streatham. It's in an old, beautiful, ancient old theatre in Streatham. And she has the top floor, and she's got a studio up there, and it's quite literally called the Bavarian Buffet. and it's got like flock wallpaper, ornate, you know, lighting and stuff. And it literally was called the Bavarian Buffet. So people would go to a show, they would go to the Bavarian Buffet and get a drink before they went to the show. Anyway, that's where she is. She's got this incredible collection of mannequins as well, beautiful. I don't know if you know as well, because mannequins, they're modelled on actual models, and some of them are incredibly collectible. And she has some incredible models. She calls them her girls. Anyhow, so I had a lovely, lovely time. And she said, "Then can I do your portrait?" And I was like, "Well, gosh, well, the honour's mine, really." So again, I went back down again, and instead of sitting for her, I sang.
Oh wow.
Yeah, because I sang Careful. You perhaps know Careful, and I just I couldn't sort of explain to her what I did, and I thought standing still and going like this wasn't the same, so I sang, and she took some photographs of me, and I never saw anything for a long, long time. She said, "The portrait's finished. I hope you like it," but then lockdown happened. So,
Oh.
and I was like, "Oh," she didn't want to just show me a
Yeah.
photograph, and Right, so hold that thought. She's done the portrait, but parallel to me seeing her saying do the portrait, she the Imogen Gibbon, who's one of the curators, directors of the galleries in Scotland, liked Roxana Hall's work, so she went and saw an exhibition in Manchester, and then she said, "I'd like to come and see your studio and come in and see your stuff." So she was about to start my painting, and Imogen came in and was looking around, going, "Oh my God, I'd love to have some of your work in our galleries, one of our galleries, and it's just that you would need a Scottish subject." And she went, "Well, I'm just about to start painting Horse McDonald," and Imogen was like, "Wow, she's just the kind of person we want in our gallery
Oh, wow.
to change what kind of content they have in galleries, because
Right.
I represent so many different things. I'm an
Oh,
older woman, I'm a lesbian, I'm Scottish, so I'm a singer. There's not anyone like me in that gallery at all or anywhere. And so she said to her about that. She then went and saw it. I didn't know this. And she said, I want to acquire it for the nation, but it has to go through a real vetting process between all the directors of all the galleries, so that it's rightly kind of looked at and considered, and is it the right thing for us to acquire for the nation? So it's a government funded thing. So I didn't know. And then she said, "I've got something to tell you. You're sitting down." I was like, "Yeah." She said, "Well, we're at the last stage of the selection." And I was like, "Oh, really?" And when she said, I was like, "Oh," but I don't know about you, but if something's happening at a distance, it's not tangible.
right.
Right.
Yeah.
So
Right.
I thought, I need to rush down there and see this portrait before it gets taken back up to Scotland. And so I went down in the train during lockdown with a mask on, sat 5 hours in the train, saw the thing. The thing. I didn't. I was so nervous because I thought, I really want to like this. I hope I don't dislike it.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I looked at it and I didn't recognize myself. I just didn't, because I'm seeing myself from inside out.
Right.
I'm looking at
Right.
myself from the
Right.
inside
Right.
out, and I'm like, oh, and this character is so bright and vivid, and I'm like, oh, I'm a boring old fart, and I'm dark, and I'm not very interesting. But this is what I was thinking. And what she said to me was that when she paints, she tries to capture the essence of someone.
I
And
feel
what
like he
she's
did.
captured,
Yeah.
well, what she's captured is me singing. And
Yes.
when I sing with my heart and my soul, and that's what she's captured. So I'm
Exactly.
getting kind of used to it now. But anyway, we weren't allowed to when the portrait was hung in the gallery, we weren't allowed to look at it. Now, to show how big an honour this is. So this is the National Portrait Gallery of Scotland in
Right.
Edinburgh. Massive,
Wow.
beautiful,
Wow.
beautiful old building. You walk in through these hallowed doors, and there is my portrait on the right. It's huge. It's 3 or 4 times life size. It's the only portrait in the Great Gallery. It's called the Great Hall, and
Wow.
that's all. That's the only portrait that's in there. And what's on it? And it just like there's a frieze goes all the way around, and it's all the great and good of Scotland.
Oh
And
my
I'd say
God.
Nice.
99% of the people on there are men, and some of the women are actually just like clutching at straws. Fate,
Yeah.
Florence Nightingale. There's hardly, it's kind of symbolic images of women as well. So you're like, I'm like, I'm in this gallery. So also, being gay as well, it's like that's a big thing. And so to be in this gallery
Amazing.
feels like, if I was a child growing up and I went into that gallery and I saw someone like me, I'd go, wow, I'd like to be like that. Who is this
Yeah.
person? And
Yes.
when I'm dead,
Exactly.
when I'm dead and gone, it's like that portrait's still going to exist, and it's
Yeah.
going to
Right.
represent. It's going to show people that no matter what your struggles, you can still thrive,
Exactly.
Yeah.
and share a bit of yourself.
It's
But
an
anyway,
incredible thing.
well,
It
one other
is.
thing that's really, really worth looking at as well. People kept saying, "How do you feel about it?" And I'm going, "Oh, it's amazing." Blah, blah. I didn't feel it in here. So we walked in, Roxanne and I. We knocked on the door to get in. We were the first visitors in a whole year. Knocked on the door to get in. we go in, we both get masks on. Roxana burst into tears, and I was like shaking, but I put my arm around her and we stood and we were looking at the portrait, and that was fine. We all had our photographs taken beside it, me and Roxana. There's various different people had their photographs taken, and then people were just kind of, you know, that in corners, just chatting to each other. And I said to my brother, "Would you film me?" And he was like, "Yeah." So I said to everyone, just to get them to go quiet, I said, I'm going to sing. I'm thinking of singing. Oh, that'd be lovely. So it just went all quiet. And I began to sing Careful.
Yeah.
And when you need to go and look at that, because
Oh, I
that
did.
voice, honestly, it goes way up into the sky. I felt like I was flying. And that's how I feel about the portrait. And it was the only way I could describe it. And that has had over 85,000 views in the space of a week. Between the
Wow.
As soon as I saw it, Jay, right? I tagged you in that as soon as I saw it, and I was like, "You have to see this." Yep, and I knew
It's
that she would
incredible.
appreciate it. Yeah,
That's
It's just an
amazing.
incredible thing.
Congratulations.
it's such
It's
an
just a moment.
honor.
That's the thing. Well, that's it. But you see, but just that moment in time, it was not planned. And I think that's the thing. It feels to me like if you try too hard, it doesn't happen. It's
Yeah,
like something happens when it's meant to happen, and that wave's coming for me now, and I'm getting
Yeah.
ready.
you know,
And I'm excited.
I could not agree more, because I feel like the things that have happened, you know, are a slow buildup, but they're still huge in their own right. You know, yeah, a portrait in the National Museum, you know, cover of Diva, funding coming through. They're all
Yeah,
signs. You know, it is. It's like
yeah,
a,
totally.
yeah. And man, if there's anybody that deserves it, I swear,
Well, that's
it
really,
is.
that's kind
It
of you to
is
say.
you. I've seen you
What I,
live, and I think that anybody in their right mind, you know, I mean, don't get me wrong, I love listening to music, whether it's a digital track or a vinyl and all that, but I have seen you live many times. I used to love coming down to Brighton right around your birthday, and singing at the Thistle or whatever it's called now. It's something different. But
yeah,
that was
yeah.
it's always a fun night. But seeing you live is something that you can, it's like an American expression, like seeing you live, you can take it to the bank. You know, like, you know, it's going to be a good show. You know that I never feel cheated. Like, sometimes I'll see
Yeah.
something and I feel like they're just phoning it in, but I feel like you give 110%.
What do you know? This is you're totally right, and I think my biggest problem is trying to encapsulate that in a record, because I
Yeah,
don't think we've done it yet, and that's why I want people to come and see me live. But I'd love to try and capture a little bit of what I can do live. So whether that means I have to sing like almost live to capture that, I don't know. I don't know yet, but
or a
um,
live recording, like a live show
Yeah.
recording
yeah.
of an
Be like,
album. Or,
Well, I'm going to re-record Careful, because the biggest issue I have is the Same Sky is owned by Sony, as like they own everything.
oh,
Both my first albums are owned by Sony. So I figure that the only way I can get to do something with Careful is to do it myself. So I'm going to re-record it myself in the next sort of few months. And I just wish it had been recorded before I put that thing out, because
yeah,
sales today are just crazy. With that amount of views and
Yeah.
potential sales, I would have been in the top 10, certainly in
yeah.
this country.
Oh,
So,
definitely.
so there's everything to play for, because I don't want to be in the charts particularly. I just want the tipping point, you know, to raise your profile to a set. It's almost like Monopoly, you know. You pass go, you collect your, is it £200 still? Has it
Yeah,
gone up? I don't
yeah.
know. You know, and you move around the board, because at the moment I've spent the last God knows how many years not on the playing field, you know.
Yeah,
So I'd like to be on the playing field, because I watch people, and I'm not saying hey, I'm fantastic, but I watch people, and that thing that you've just said, Denise, is that I notice people not giving. They're just kind of floating. They're not
yeah,
giving, and it's
Right.
like
yeah,
you have to give to receive. To be a great artist, you have to give a bit of yourself, and
yeah,
not be like hundreds of other people. But it's a
right,
lesson that only the ones that actually make it find out, because for every one person that makes it, there's hundreds of thousands who
right.
are
It's a tough
just
business.
trying to be someone
That's
else.
true.
It's a tough
That's
business,
true.
but I mean, I think, well, Jay, you've been doing this a long time too, and you know, it's
Yeah.
it's got to be the perfect storm of, you know, the
It
right
does.
and the right songs, the right band. I mean,
Mhm.
it really does have to be the perfect storm. Like it's, what do you call it? Lightning in a bottle.
Uh-huh.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is. I was thinking about how you were saying that things just when you're not looking for it and it comes to you. That's how I got to play one of the songs I wrote on one of my military tour. I did a homeland, a military tour base here in the United States, like 3 years in a row. And I got an email from a cheerleader from the Indianapolis Colts NFL football team. And she wanted to sing one of my songs that I wrote for the troops on their USO tour. So to thank me, they invited me to sing at Lucas Oil Stadium, which is the home stadium for the Indianapolis Colts, on their Veterans Day halftime show, to sing my song. And it was like, someone in my level doesn't usually get to even sing in a stadium, football stadium, let alone sing your own song that you wrote. So for me, if I had looked for that, like, oh, let me sing the NFL, let me sing a halftime show, that would have never happened. It came to me in an email because my song was up on a site, Songs for the Troops, and the girl found it on that. So I know what you mean when things are like, it's like serendipity, like it's meant to happen and you didn't
But do you
seek
think,
that.
I was just going to say, I mean, one of the things that I often, the conclusion I come to is like today, for example, up in the hills, the views were just incredible, but no camera would ever capture that moment. None of them. That much, and so I've lived it. And I think the moment you're talking about is like that's inside you, that wonderful excitement and pride, those kind of, you know, moments, those kind of bullet point moments through your life that are incredible. And
It's
and
true.
they're for you. They're for you, those moments. And it's like, instead of trying to take the best photograph, just look and enjoy it, breathe it in and enjoy it. Because it made me also think as well that years ago, I'm such a perfectionist. And you're right, I try to give my every last ounce. I mean, I do say to people that I'll probably, you know, I'll sing to my last breath, you know, because it means so much to me, never mind anyone else,
Yeah.
you know, but I've gone off piste. I often go off piste. What was I going to say? Oh my God, it was to do with what Jay said as well. Okay, but just to reiterate that anyway, just that those moments are, you know, they're magical moments. I've had so many of those in my life. I'm very, very, very blessed and lucky. You
You know,
know,
my mother just said to me the other day, aren't you glad that they didn't have, um, you know, phone cameras, like video phone stuff when you were younger? And I said, yeah, I mean, I get it. Like, of course I wouldn't want my drunken exploits put on the internet, but in the same respect, I would love to have certain moments, you know, not moments, but like days or, you know, stuff like a friend of mine posted a picture from, geez, probably like 1982 at a picnic that we had with all the employees from my mother's restaurant. And, you know, it's the stuff that it got away from me. And there I was looking at the picture and like that whole day came back to me. And
Yeah.
and it was like it was so cool. Like it was like those I think my biggest fear is forgetting those times, you know, and I was like, oh my God, it happened. Like I forgot this day and it was so fun. And I can't believe that you know, I have, thank God someone took a picture, you know, like I was so happy that someone took a picture. So yeah, it's a blessing and a curse, I think,
Right. Right.
when you talk about those moments, but they're with you, you know, and that's all you need is a little memory jog and they come back.
well, I don't know if Jay agrees with me, but music saved my life, and I've seen it save other people's lives as well. And also,
Mine too.
I've been very blessed to um, sing, you know, at the closing moments of a few people's lives, and it's Careful I've sung, and it's an incredibly spiritual thing, even if you don't have any faith. It's a very incredible thing to do. I sang to my mum before she passed away, and
Oh,
it was one of those moments, you know, I wanted to give her something,
Yeah.
and I couldn't think of what I could do that was enough to tell her how much I loved her, and um, I said to my brother, I'm going to sing. He said, how are you going to do that? How are you going to manage to do that? I said, I will. And I did. I sang
Oh,
to her. And she had cancer, she had ovarian cancer, but she couldn't speak. But I could see in her smile, she was smiling at me, you
Yeah.
know. And I
yeah.
sang, and it was just one of the, you know, now we're very negative about American phrases, etc. But awesome, the word awesome in
Yeah.
its
Aw.
truest sense, when I
It does.
sang
It
Faithful to
encompasses
My Mum, it
everything.
was awesome. But
Yeah.
not in a flippant way, a really powerful way. It was awesome. And just, we were all awestruck. We all just, I sang, and everyone just stood and listened, and you know, my
Wow.
mum watched. But I was asked, I've been asked a couple of times to sing to a few other people, and I take it, I think very carefully about it first, because it's an incredible honour to be asked to be present, not necessarily physically, but kind of down the line or whatever. And I've sung to a couple of people, and the
It
first
is.
time I did it, I got very upset after it, because it was for an older woman. It just reminded me of my mum,
Oh, yeah.
you know.
Yeah.
But I thought I was
Yeah.
meant to do it. I was meant to sing. I was meant to do this.
I do.
That's why I think, I don't know if Jay agrees with that, that music is a really powerful thing, used in its correct way, not in a commercial way. You know, it's a
Yes,
special thing.
I totally agree with you. And something similar happened to me. My friend, my very good friend, was up in Pennsylvania. I'm in South Florida with her mom, who was sick with pancreatic cancer. But we, you know, it was her birthday, and it didn't seem like it was time for her to go yet. She was just not
Mm.
too well. And my friend was up there most of the year taking care of her mom. And I was leaving the house to go to a gig, and I said to her, I called to wish her mom a happy birthday. I knew her mom very well for years. And she said, this is Kelly, Denise. Denise knows
Oh,
Kelly.
okay.
And I said, okay. She said, my mom's on the phone. And I said, I'll call her tomorrow and wish her a happy birthday. And she goes, no, wait. She got off the phone. I put my guitar down. I opened up the case. I sat down and played her happy birthday. And the next day she passed away unexpectedly. And my friend told me after that moment, before the next day, like when I got put the guitar away, I said hello to her, happy birthday. I went to my gig. She said, you made my mom smile. It was the first time she smiled in weeks. She's been feeling so sick. And I'm thinking, I forget, like, I think we forget as artists and musicians how much our music can make a difference to people sometimes, because we're so used to doing that, you know, like me just singing happy birthday to her made her happy. And I was so glad I took that moment to stop and say, let me just do it now then, not wait till tomorrow, because who would have thought the next day she'd
No.
be gone. So I
But the
get what
thing
you're
is,
saying.
yeah, but the thing that's wonderful about it is you get something from it too. And I think this is what some artists don't understand, that by giving, you deceive. And it's
Yeah.
the most
Yes,
magical
definitely.
thing. And that's not just music, it's life in general, isn't it? It's like, if you give, you receive. And the more open you are, the more you receive. It's just an incredible thing that I've discovered in the last kind of handful of years, you know.
I
It's
always tell
wonderful.
you guys, like Jay, I remember saying this to you before, like it's a gift. Like what you guys are doing, it's a gift that you're giving to people, you know, and I feel like I'm incredibly proud. Like I always say that, like away from a show, like
Uh,
I can't imagine how you guys feel, you know, but I know I walk away going, wow,
Wow.
I'm so proud of them, like that they can share that.
aw, that's so
Like,
nice.
it's a big deal to be on the receiving end. You know what I mean? So
That's nice. I tend to forget that. I don't know about you, Horse, but I tend to forget that, because sometimes there's a lot that goes into getting up on the stage, like so much stress. I don't
Oh,
know if you
Christ,
get
yeah. Oh,
that
sorry, did I
ahead
say?
of time, the preparation and the problems with the sound or whatever, and you get up there and you don't realize that you're giving joy to other people.
it's
But see, I think so. So here I've got a confession to make. I'm 63 in November, 63 years old. I want to keep doing this for at least another 10 years. My voice is still young, so I think I can still do it. and that's why I'm trying to get fit just now, because I want to be fit. The tour, I mean, it might not seem a lot to anyone else, but I mean, I organise it all myself, and it's 20 shows in the UK. So it's a huge physical ask because the show's 2 hours long. So I'm not
It
just
is.
like I'm not just a tish toshy singer. It's huge, big, not operatic singing, but it's big breathing, big songs. It's 2 hours of that. So I need to be fit, I think, to be traveling around and doing that. So that's
Yes,
what I'm trying to do. So that's the
definitely.
other thing you forget about. You just kind of throw yourself onto a stage and expect yourself to be able to do it. Well,
Did it. I just did that on Saturday night. I had a local sold out show in a small venue. And I don't play that often right now because of COVID and
of
a lot of
course, yeah.
places aren't open. And so I forgot how much energy you need to really sing well. And I made the mistake of putting a ballad right after a very high up pace. And I'm like, why did I do that? I'm never doing that again. Like in my mind, I'm thinking, well, they're going to be really, we got something
What would
really
work
upbeat.
well? Yeah.
Now we're going
done
to
that.
bring them down to a ballad, but I forgot I had to get myself because I was moving. And I'm like, I didn't realize how out of shape I was. You do have to be physically
Well,
fit to do
but it's
that.
not even just like physically as in body, but your cords, the musculature,
Oh,
all in
yes,
here. So
definitely.
you do have muscle memory. The vocal folds are all kind of, embraced by tendons and stuff like that. But I'm finding I'm actually, as part of my funding, I've asked to get coaching, which I've not had in years and years and years, because I feel like my voice is going to take a right old battering, next year. So I
Yeah.
want to build up my vocal strength. So it's like that musculature. It's like suddenly expecting yourself to go for a marathon, and you've not stretched or done exercises.
Oh my God, I just compared that exactly to that because I
Man,
sang for a whole day before I did the show because I hadn't done that. I had it. It's like any other
So you
muscle.
tired it out. You tired yourself out.
I am so
Yeah.
glad that I am a listener.
Well, the thing is, we do. I mean, we get to a certain point, and I have to say, I'm very, very lucky that I don't have to, um, because I've been singing for a long time, and my voice has not been trashed particularly because I haven't toured extensively, but I would like to. So it's like I feel lucky. I feel like I've been doing a wee dry run for the last 30 years, and I'm ready for the big time. Finally, ready for the big time.
It's all been building up to now.
Tell me
Yeah,
again, you said your tour is going to be 2020.
spring next year.
Okay.
Yep.
And it's
Yeah.
just the UK?
It's the UK at the moment, yeah. But without, what I'm going to try and do is I'm going to put Careful out as a single.
Yeah.
And if that's the response I get from the song, just flung up on social media, my hope would be that that's a tipping point, and we sell out the tour, and this is what I was saying to you at the beginning. Without any plan, I've been to hell in a whole year where shows were cancelled, and as someone who's like Jay's probably self-employed as well, no big major support system behind you, as a self-employed person, you're aiming towards this thing here, and it vanished. And I was like,
Right.
oh, okay, well, I'll move it to over there. And then, nope, you can't do that. And it's and I kept moving things, and I thought, I felt like I was at sea. I was like, I don't know whether I felt lost. I didn't know what. It really played havoc, and music. Lots of musicians are the same. But what has happened is that by moving that tour for the Same Sky, it's given me a space to create the next album. So we will say goodbye to Same Sky in spring, but the new album will be recorded and ready for summer.
What timing? Yeah,
I know, I wasn't
it all
planning.
fell into place in a weird way. It all fell into place. And I mean, sometimes that's just the silver lining behind the dark clouds, like.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, do you believe in, because someone said to me years and years ago, I've got an album called Hindsight, It's a Wonderful Thing. And in the photograph of the front, I went to Harris, which is a beautiful place up the islands way beyond the north of Scotland. And Harris is an area on Stornoway. And we went to this beautiful beach, and the photographer doesn't leave the island. That's why I went there, and she's a great photographer. So I went in there. I actually walked into the sea with half my clothes on, and it's not quite like Madonna Cherish, but because it was filmed in February, and I was freezing, and I was like lying in the water, and every time she was like ready, and every time she was about to take a shot, I would go like that. I'd go, and I'd see the wave coming, and I'd go. The last shot, that photograph is the last shot in the shoot. She's in the water with me.
Great.
And she said, hey, this is the last shot, Horse, and she distracted me, and the wave came over me, and I was like, oh, I was like that, and that was the shot. But anyway,
Brilliant.
but the reason I brought it up is a guy I know saw that image, and he went, oh, he said, female power is coming back.
Yeah.
There's been too much male energy in the planet for too many years, and now this was years ago. He said this because Hindsight was out in 2003 or something like that.
Yeah.
And he saw this image, and he goes, in that I can see female energy, and I can actually see these kind of female figures or whatever coming out of the water. And I was like, really? And now here at this time, you look at how many female leaders there are in the world happening.
Yeah.
There's
Yes.
the women are taking back.
Man, I'll tell you what, you're right.
There we go. Hello. Hi. Hello, you.
Hi.
Hi.
Nice to see you.
You too as well. Yeah, that's fab. Nice to see you.
Yeah, thanks.
Right? We were saying
You're
it's
looking
like
so good.
about 10 years, right?
No.
No,
Not
no,
10.
it's really not 10.
7?
7.
I actually have no idea.
7. I'm counting when we were down in Brighton and we got to see a couple of shows. So yeah,
Right.
about 7.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Birthday
You've not
shows.
changed a bit. You've not aged. You've not changed. I don't know what you do. I don't know what your secret is, but
She's all fit now.
I want to know what it is.
Oh, I tell you, my secret is I've used Astral face cream since I was a teenager. Have you heard of Astral face cream?
No.
It's a really heavy duty white cream. It's not Nivea. It's not perfumed. I've been wearing that since I was a child, since I was a teenager. But I know a couple of other people who are the same, and they've got really nice skin. And I'm like, I should get sponsorship by Astral, really.
Good, really.
Is that like a cold cream that you put on and just leave it overnight and you have to wipe it off in the morning?
No, I never wipe it off. My skin goes and soaks it all up.
Right up.
So-
Okay.
It's obviously addicted to it or something. I don't know.
Oh, well, that's good to know. We'll have to look for that
I was
now.
going to say, you'll be Googling that tonight.
Astral, you'll get it in you'll get Boots the Chemist. It's a really
there you
nice thing.
go.
Get a wee tub to try it out. It's not expensive. It's not like your what was it? Sorry, we're going off on a ridiculous conversation now, but oil of
Okay.
Olay. I
Yeah,
remember it used to be Ulay. My mum used to buy oil of Ulay, but it's Olay now. Olay. I was like, is it being bought by Spanish people? I don't know, but I've always been on Astral. That's my thing. Well, I'd like to know how you get on with that, actually.
Yeah, I will let you know.
I think so.
We'll catch up
absolutely,
before you go on tour. She's going to go on tour again in 2022.
I'm gonna
yeah, we were
I
in Brighton.
think far
We're
too
at
long.
Comedia in Brighton. We're in Comedia in Brighton. That's where we're playing in Brighton.
Oh, that's an
excellent.
awesome venue.
Yeah, so I think it's a ridiculous. It's like a Tuesday or something. Because one of the things you can't do when you're touring is have a consecutive Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Thursday, because you've got 3 or 4 days.
Yeah.
Anyhow, I think Brighton is unfortunately a Monday or a Tuesday, but we're worth it. We're worth it. Completely
I
worth
believe
it.
that. Yes, you are.
Yeah.
I have to come there for that. I'll make a special trip. That's going to be part of my UK experience.
There you go, Jay. Perfect.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's spring next year. I mean, we're playing London, but we're playing in a place called St Pancras Old Church, which is a really lovely, lovely place for music.
Anyway, I want tickets to the church performance because your tone in a church is amazing.
Oh, it's going to be awesome.
Yeah, I mean, I just there's just so many exciting things, and so what I'm doing this time is I've got a guy I've actually asked to take care of the agency duties. I mean, I've booked all the shows bar 2, But I've said now I want to go and concentrate on my music. Will you just nursemaid them? So a guy called Tim from he works for Happy Valley Pride actually, and I met him through doing a session. I really got on well with him. So
Oh, wow.
I think that's the thing. It means I'm just going to get more and more people as I can to start looking after me. Like I was saying to Jay, it's like you would laugh, right? But that show, the Queen's Hall show, was a massive show. We had a lot of rehearsals. I'd strings in there, extra voices. And so we rehearsed for it. I filmed it, I recorded it. So the day of the show, my
Yeah.
driver couldn't come. So
Oh,
I had to
no
drive
way.
the splitter bus with the equipment and the band to the gig, reverse
Oh
the
my
freaking thing in.
No.
Then the person that was supposed to sort the food out, that the person wasn't there. So I'm supposed to be sound checking, but I'm organising food. And
Oh.
then I'm trying to, I'm doing that, and then get the sound check, and I'm like, by the time I'm like up to my, and a quick change down the stairs onto the stage, show, 2 minutes meeting friends and family, and then out to meet the audience 2 hours
Wow.
later.
Oh
We've got
my
2 hours with
God.
friends and
That's a
family.
schedule
That
like
makes
nobody needs that. Nobody needs that.
No,
Yeah.
exactly. And
know
so I
what
did that,
They say,
and then
yeah, go
I was
ahead.
just going to say, at the end of that, I then drove the bus back and dropped everybody off. And then I lived 4 flights up, and I was like, oh, I can't leave stuff in the van. I was like coming up the stairs like that, lifting everything up the stairs, and I was back up at 8 the next morning to take the splitter bus back.
Oh
I
my
couldn't get out of
God.
my bed. I couldn't get out of my bed for 2 days. I was so exhausted.
Oh
And
my
I
God.
just, after that, that's the last full band show that we've done. I swore to myself then, Jay, that like that tour, there's going to be a tour manager, there's going to be a driver, there's going to be all of that stuff.
Yeah.
And I'll
That's
find
for
the funding or
sure.
whatever. Because I just want to get to a gig, rest, and prepare to go on stage, not run about after everybody else.
Yeah.
I totally relate to that. You have to wear so many hats. Even this thing we just did Saturday, I had people at the last minute asking me about their seats, like my family. And I'm like, can you just take care of your seats? Because I'm trying to prepare to get ready for the show. And I don't know why they changed your seats. And it's just, I always say,
The thing is, you've always done this, Jay. You've always done this.
yeah.
That's what I've always done. So that's what they expect. So it's time to go,
Yes.
no.
Yeah.
That's a
Right.
new word I'm learning. No.
You had a really
Right,
good
so-
point though when you said that you've got to, you have to take care of yourself to give
Right.
what you're going to give on stage. You can't,
If people knew,
yeah,
right, Jay? If
right.
people knew
If they
how
knew.
much,
And
what the planning to book the show, the rehearsals, the finance behind it, the organisation behind the whole thing, Now that was one show, and the others were all cancelled, and it's me that's been sitting trying to get people through lockdown to reply to my emails to forward the show as rescheduled. Now that's happened in some cases 4 times now.
Oh,
wow.
And I wasn't able to concentrate on my music because I kept thinking I need to do this and I need to do that. I need to do admin, and I'm fed up of it now. I want to concentrate on my music, and I'm going to maybe come across as a diva to some people, but I just have to think about myself.
It's time.
I-
It's time.
I can so
It's
relate.
time.
I just said at this last show, I'm hiring someone to carry my amp and my guitar and everything in and bring it back out at the end of the show, because I get it. I totally get it. I do all of that same stuff for my band too. And I like to say my phrase that I always tell everybody now is, heavy is the head that wears the crown. And they're like, what?
Oh, I like that.
That's perfect.
I like that.
Yeah. But
I
let me
didn't
ask
make it
you,
up. But I love it. I love
let
that
me ask
saying.
you this. Are you different in the studio? Like, do you find it more relaxing, less stress?
It's different.
It's a
absolutely
different
And
kind of,
what,
yeah.
you see, I've kind of put together the last few albums, stolen moments to get in and record, etc. And this, going up to this studio, is about trying different microphones out, and just the luxury of singing and hearing my voice and think, do I like that mic? I've not had the chance to do that in 30 years when you had major record deals where
I'm
you're into
so
big
looking
studios.
forward to this. I really am looking forward to
That's
it.
Well,
a
I can't
great
wait.
idea.
Yeah.
What an
Yeah.
artistic idea. That's such an artist such an artist in you to think to do that, those pre-recordings of those
Well,
moments.
in those days, like when we recorded the first albums, you would be in the studio for 5-6 hours singing, and you would get. The thing is, it's a pain and a pleasure at the same time,
Yeah.
because you get, like, I'm writing songs at the moment, so all I've got is these songs going round in my head. But the same kind of thing happens when you're singing. It's like you hear the slightest tuning mistake, problem,
Oh,
or
yeah.
the slightest tone or sound or diction, and you get so close to it.
Yeah.
Like Pete, I worked the first album I worked with a guy called Pete Smith, and he was a Londoner, and you'd be in the studio, and it was like me learning, because all we'd done before recording a major album or signing a deal and doing an album was like demos in little studios. So to be in a proper, decent studio was like a learning thing, and I didn't
Oh,
really.
yeah.
I can sing live, but I'd not really had the time in the studio. So we would be in there 5-6 hours. I'd be exhausted, and he'd go, "Now, mate, no, that's it. You're not going to do any more. That's it." And I went, "No, one more. I've got one more." Pete, he went, "All right then," and I would do it, and he'd go, "Yeah, that was it." And then other times he'd go, "No, it's the one before," and I'd go, "Yeah, you're right." But it's a really, really enjoyable. It's a strange combination of pressure, but also excitement, and I think
Right.
that's the thing. If you can capture that human essence, that human frailty when you're trying to sing a little bit. I'll give you a good example of that. The original recording of Careful, what was going on while I was singing that vocal, we'd tried me singing it with there was 12 strings for Careful, and we tried me singing live with the strings, and that just wasn't happening. So we recorded the strings, and then I went in to record the vocal.
Oh,
And when I was recording the vocal, I was in this massive big room with a little booth round me and drinks and stuff like that. And Pete Smith left, he'd go and do something, and he left me in charge, looked after by two, Sven and Carl, the two guys, and I could see them in the big window. And I'm like, be careful. And I said, what have you said? This is what I was saying to Jay just now. You can hear the slightest change in something if something's changed. And I said, have you changed the
Right.
sound? Have you changed the sound? Because it's like, it sounds different to me. I'm not hearing what I want to hear. I might now, it's all right. And I was singing, I'd go, no, there's something not quite, something has changed here. Anyway, I was in the middle of saying this to them. Pete Smith walked in and he went, all right, mate. And I was like, well, the sound's kind of changed in here. And he was like, really? And he went, you saw him going up to the window and he's going, and then the next thing, another headset is put there and he stands beside me, and I'm going, oh, and he flung them down. And then I could see, now I couldn't hear anything because the sound was off. I saw him going, it's funny now, but it wasn't at the time. You can imagine me, I'm like trying to finish the last sort of bit of the song, which is a long note.
yeah.
And you see him strangling Sven. He's going to, and I'm going, all right, mate, run it down to you now. And I was like, and I was like, ah! And now see, when you listen to the track, it's like my voice is great, and there's this bit where my voice goes ba-dum, and that's my heart beating. It's like I'm like, and it goes slightly out, but it resolves beautifully. It's like at the end, it's almost like Torval and Dean doing a spin.
Yeah.
At the end of it, in
Skaters.
the middle of it, I
Yeah.
start to lose it a little bit because of the stress. And then I go over it, but if you listen to it carefully, you can almost hear there's a bit in the middle where my voice, there's a dip in it slightly, and I think it's because my heart's going, because he comes and stands beside me when I'm trying to sing this.
Oh my God. I
These are
like
things
having this like behind the scenes
Right.
knowledge now when I go back and listen.
Listen.
see if you can hear it or spot it.
I will. I feel like it's an Easter egg now. Like a little gimme.
I
Oh,
have
man.
to ask you, Horse, because I see the passion that you have in all that you do in the music, and I have the same thing the passion for the music, but then running all the other aspects of having a band and a career. On your personal life, like I've always found with having a partner, it's always been, they never get the commitment that you have to spend so much time
Totally.
to go on the stage, that one show. And they start to feel like, I've had people tell me they're last on my list, like in my past. And it's never really that. It's just that they don't know that passion, I believe, of what it is to do that.
Oh, sure.
But you've probably met those people after you had the career and after
Yes.
you. So
Yes.
you've always been a singer. It's them that
Yes.
changed.
Yeah.
Right.
And so I've just literally separated quite recently from my wife, and that was the case. It was like this was always going to be what I did, and the partner before that, and the partner before that, and actually now I'm really just enjoying being on my own and enjoying singing and not feeling that I have to
Yes. Yeah.
like you just said, like just kind of change for someone else, you know.
Yeah.
Definitely.
You know,
It's not-
a lot of times people see, it didn't happen in every case, but people see the person on the stage and they're very enamored with that person. They don't know what it takes to get on that stage and the commitment and the drive and the time.
But I just
So-
don't think it's just you or me. I actually think that a lot of people, when they meet someone, there's that flurry at the beginning, and then they often have to give a piece of themselves up to be there with that person.
Right.
What you need
right.
is someone that you don't give anything up. You can still be who you are. They can still be who they are. So
Yes.
I think that's, I'm not looking for anyone else, but that's what you would want, that someone would understand that, like you said,
Just be accepting of it.
this
you
isn't
know?
just a job. This is not a job.
No, it's not.
This
It
is
was
not a
me.
job. It's
Yeah,
very,
It's not.
Janice Ian. Do you know who Janice Ian is?
yes, of course I do. Yes. Of course.
Do you know her?
No, I don't.
Back to Janice Ian, Denise. You don't know her. Janice Ian said she's had a very successful marriage to her wife for like 30 something years, but
Yeah.
she did say that when you marry a musician or you're with a musician, you're really only going to be their mistress. Don't expect to be, their music is always going to
I
be.
would say that's all right, though, is it not? I don't want people to think that you don't give anything. You
Right.
give as much as anyone in those relationships.
Yeah.
It's just
Right.
that this this person is more than just somebody that's doing a 9-to-5 job. This person has a spirit. There's a spirit takes over you. And now that sounds a bit kind of like, well, I'm better than you or whatever. It's not. It's just,
No.
that is my choice. That is what I've chosen to do. And
Right.
and I've had those experiences where I know from talking to people that the music is incredibly important, and that I get kind of pissed off because I sometimes feel I'm not respected by my peers, mostly male peers up here, say in Scotland. I'm not respected by them. I'm not on their radar. A, because I'm a woman, B, because I'm a lesbian, and now I'm older. I was never part of any club or clique. And I think that's often a problem sometimes in music, because you need to be pigeonholed into folk, jazz, rock, pop,
Yeah.
whatever.
Right.
And at the end of the day, I just, that has changed a bit. But where I come from, as I say, my peers, I don't think they recognise me. So I find that incredibly disrespectful.
Frustrating. It's frustrating because on the level you've earned their respect. They just haven't taken it.
It's not just that. It's like the interesting thing is that I would say that if you did a wee Vox Pops thing, I would say that maybe 80% of my audience is straight.
Yeah, you say that.
And everyone's welcome. But I think people would presume that because I am gay, then my fans would be gay. But what I do is, I'm a great ambassador for the LGBTQ plus community, because I'll accept anyone. And God, my fans would kill somebody if they did something nasty to me or whatever, because they've got a real fire to seeing my things on stage, a real fire to support me, but because it means a lot to them. They've all experienced either a death, a marriage, a birth,
Sure.
and the songs have been a backdrop to their lives, like a lot of artists. So it's disrespectful to them.
Right.
It's
Yes.
disrespectful to them. If
Yeah.
they disrespect me, they disrespect my fans, and
Yeah.
I get very
Yeah.
angry on their behalf.
Yeah, you're
But
right. I mean, I guess I
this
never
is a
looked at it like
culture,
that,
isn't
but it's true. Yeah.
it? I mean, it's a culture now of music's being so devalued anyway. I just don't know how. I would say I was lucky, but I don't know that luck has anything to do with it. I've worked very, very hard, and I think there are people coming up after me. I don't know how they either survive or grow an audience. I've no idea. Somebody showed me TikTok tonight. I know about TikTok, of course, but I'm looking at absolute, excuse my phrase, shite. Looking
Yeah.
at just stuff in this
Yes.
that have got, someone's got 15 million followers. And I'm like, because you do that?
Yeah.
And I think one of the worst things that the internet has brought us is celebrity culture, the kind of local celebrity who isn't talented, who
Right.
doesn't have talent or skill. And we celebrate, you'll ask kids on these programs like The Voice or whatever, X Factor, whatever,
Mhm.
and they're going, oh, this is my last chance to have
Yeah.
success. And they're 16 years old.
Right.
Try my age group, mate.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's like, and why do you want to do this? Well, my mum's been ill, and we get the sob story,
Yeah.
okay?
Yeah.
Or we get, why do you want to? Well, I want to be a celebrity. Yes, but what do you want to do to be a celebrity? Well, I want to be a celebrity.
Yeah.
And you're like, what?
Right.
I just,
Right.
oh
Yeah.
God, it annoys the hell out of me.
I can't stand people that have a gimmick or reality TV have made like common idiots a celebrity,
Right.
that don't
Exactly.
deserve a following, and that it's
Yes.
very frustrating for the people that work hard and that want to put out quality and like you say,
Yeah.
like the passion and that are doing it because it's in them. It's not, there's not a want, it's not about the
No.
fame and the glory. It's about like, I'm giving you a part of me, so
But don't you
little
think
of that.
it is kind of diluted?
Yeah.
Everything's like diluting down. I think the worst thing about the internet is, like, you can imagine if someone's been bullied out with,
Yeah.
home, and they get bullied or whatever, and then they go home and this bullying comes into their home
Mhm.
through social media and stuff like that. I can't imagine. I had a terrible time being bullied and stuff, when I was a teenager where I grew up. I can't imagine what it'd be like if I'd gone home and it came into my home with me.
Oh, isn't it ridiculous
Wow.
nowadays? Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
where's it going to go? Where's it going to go? I think that's the way to look at it. Where's it going to go from here?
Right. Yeah.
I
It's horrible.
mean, I know. So
But here's the thing, and coming full circle with that is that a lot of kids that are bullied or whatever, they find their solace in music,
mhm.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
that's why I always say, like, what you guys do and what you have is a gift. And, so you might lose sight of the fact that, people are finding, solace and comfort and, in that music. So yeah, as hard as it's been, and as long as it takes, you have to keep going. You have to keep doing it.
I think
I'm telling you have to keep doing it.
I ain't
Thanks,
stopping.
Denise.
I ain't
You're
stopping
welcome.
either.
From a
I
listener.
think because you've understood yourself how important music is.
Yeah.
That's, if you get it, if you understand that yourself, when you make music, you understand it a little bit. That's a
Yeah.
really special. I would describe it as an essence.
Yeah.
It's a real essence, because the planet resonates. Our planet, the core, Earth's core resonates. I think is it E flat. Anyway, the Earth planet has a note that resonates. Flowers and plants all resonate. We as human beings, it's only natural, therefore, that we resonate to music and notes and how it makes us feel.
Yeah. Yeah, it's
Simple,
very true.
simple thing.
Oh man, listen, we have kept you up way past your bedtime. And I feel terrible about it. And then I make
No,
you
no.
come back.
I told Denise when you asked me, I said, you know, I could chat for Scotland. And I do. I
I
do.
know, but I want you to get your rest because I want you to put out as careful, and then I want you to go on tour, and I want you to take care of yourself. And I cannot wait to see you perform live again.
Oh, thank you. I tell you, you should hear some of the songs. I'm really excited about these new songs.
I'm super excited about this. This was
I
all
know.
new. This was all news to me, and I
Yeah.
love it.
No one knows. It's just literally, I've just decided in the last little while.
I
North of Road.
will. I will.
Oh God,
definitely
it looks
check that out.
lovely, and I just can't wait. I could have chosen a studio nearby, but I think I wanted to get away into the countryside and just be
Oh, that'll be
away
be
from the
beautiful.
city.
That kind
'Cause I
of
live in Glasgow, you know, so
that kind of piece will play right into it. So that's
yeah.
perfect. Well, my friend, it has been amazing, and I'm so
I've loved it.
yeah.
It
I'm
has
so
been
glad.
so great meeting you.
Me
I'm so
too.
happy I got to meet you. I was looking forward to today so much.
Aw,
Sorry, I
I'm
didn't
gonna.
mean to interrupt you, Denise.
I've talked you up a lot, Horse.
All right, okay. I hope I haven't fallen. I hope I haven't.
No,
No.
Denise told me so much about you, and I looked you up, and I'm like, oh my God, wow! I'm so excited she's going to be on the show. She's a big deal.
She
So
is
Thank
big
you.
deal.
I think I'm a big deal.
You are a big deal.
Well, do you know what? I think it's just very. People keep saying to me, "Oh my God, how come what a voice?" And "Oh, I love your music." "Oh, how come you're not bigger?" Somebody said, "If you were in the States, you'd be massive," and I'm like, "No, I would go on from being a tiny speck in an ocean to a tiny dot in a universe if I went to America."
Yeah,
But
that's true.
it just takes that magical tipping point, that moment that you can't quite discern or decide. But that moment when I sang Careful came from my heart. And I think if I can capture that magic and put it out as a record, I think people will get it.
I
And
do
coming
too.
out of lockdown, I think Careful is the antidote, maybe.
Yeah,
So
I think you're onto
I just
something.
know this magic, something special, and it
Oh,
wasn't meant to be; it just happened, you know.
I must have watched that, at least a handful of times, and just
Eighty-five
over
thousand,
and
was it
over and
you?
over again. Yeah. So part of that was me, but
Yeah, great. Glad to
but
hear
it's
it.
worth it. It's worth a look. And that's on your Instagram, isn't it?
It's on Twitter, it's on Instagram, it's on
Okay,
Facebook.
good.
You'll
So I
find
want
it somewhere.
anybody that listens to this to go,
Yeah,
find you on Instagram and really have a listen
yeah,
to that because it was
yeah,
absolutely
yeah.
incredible.
Magic,
Oh my,
absolutely.
this has been great. Yeah,
Oh, I've had
terrific.
a lovely time myself. It's lovely to spend a bit of
Well, go
time.
get a good night's rest. You've earned it with your uphill walking.
Yeah.
And we're
12.2
gonna,
miles. Oh,
gonna,
the best part though was 1,500 calories.
oh my,
Wow.
wow, 1,500. Holy crap.
Yeah, that
Ride
was
an exercise bike and I
severe.
only burn like 500. It's like,
Right.
Yeah,
wow,
yeah, it was
that's
massive
amazing.
walk
Well, good
today,
for
but
you. That's
yeah, that's
fantastic.
what I've got, this rosy glow.
You do. It's the finally, the freshness of being outside without having to wear a
Yeah,
mask,
loved it.
and yeah,
Honestly loved it.
yeah,
Fantastic.
it's
Anyway, I'm
wonderful.
just chatting. Stop me. You know what I'm like.
Well, I am looking forward to seeing you again in
No,
person
thank you
this
for
time
asking
on
me.
stage. I think the world of you, and thank you so much
Oh, you
for
too.
doing this. All
Yeah,
right, good
nice
night,
to meet you
ladies.
too.
Yeah.
Right.
Right.
Thank you
Oh, let's do
all.
it again.
Definitely, we're gonna
Yeah.
have a okay.
Catch
Bye,
up.
my friend.
Okay. Night night.